Yo, what up? Cockman 123 here. Thank you, Black Eye, for giving me the opportunity to be on this show. Um, so we'll be rating cocks. Um, first up, Black Eye.
Yo guys, what is up? It is Alex or Black Eye here. I've been around the ranked scene a lot. I've hit Grandmasters on the console queues pretty consistently for the past like 3 seasons, and even on the PC queues, I've been queuing PC ranked using my controller, which yes, you can do. I'm tired of arguing that you can't do it. I have a whole video on if you'd like to watch it, but I have been queuing PC ranked with the controller and have hit Masters pretty much every single time I decide to grind out PC ranked. So I feel like I'm fairly skilled and knowledgeable at the game, and a big question I get asked a lot when I'm streaming is like, how do I get better? I'm stuck in this rank, how can I climb up? And that's what this video is about. So today I'm going to give you guys 9 tips and tricks to help you climb in ranked. I'm also friends with the Tartarus Titan solo laner, Solo Retrol, and I reached out to him and he was kind enough to give his input on a few of the tips that I have. So without further ado, let's get started. The first one I'm pretty sure you've heard everywhere, but know 3 to 4 roles and 3 to 4 gods in each role. I think you can get away with knowing 3 roles if one of them is support, but if you don't know how to play support, then I would probably learn every single role other than support. And that's just because I feel like support is the least favorite role in ranked. So if you know how to play it and you get a role that you don't like, well, there's like an 80% chance the person will just give you support. And then if you get stuck in support, there's usually at least one person that's willing to switch with you. So I'd say if you know support, you can get away with 3. If you don't know support, you should probably know all 4. And this is just to ensure that you don't get absolutely fucked over in a ranked game if you don't get the god or the role you want. And that's why I mentioned the gods too. It's just nice to have 3 to 4 gods in your pocket for each role that you are somewhat comfortable on, just so that if they get banned out or picked, then you have a fallback plan. Unless you are like mid-masters or higher, I wouldn't really worry about what's meta. This is true for especially low ranks like bronze through, I'd say like bronze through gold, maybe even platinum, but meta quite literally doesn't really matter. And when I say this, I don't mean, oh, just play whatever the fuck you want. Play raw solo. That's not what I mean by that. What I mean is some people are scared to play the gods they're comfortable on because they aren't good right now or they aren't what's meta. In which case, my argument is that if you're in lower elo anyway, skill is going to be the most important thing at that point. So yeah, right now, in my opinion, like Raijin isn't really that good. But if you're really, really good at Raijin, it's better to play him because you know you're good with him versus a god that's considered meta that you're not good with. Because you're going to have more success on the gods that you're actually good with.
So this is something I've been preaching for years, ever since 5 years now since I've been a streamer. I definitely get a lot of questions. People asking me, what should they play in ranked? What's meta? What's the best god to climb ranked? And in my opinion, the best god is always the god that you're good at or the god you're most comfortable with and the gods that you have the most fun with. I think that is way more important above everything. You can play meta gods. Of course, that'll probably increase your chances of winning if you spam the most OP gods every single game. But that isn't fun. That gets boring. And a lot of times, you might not even be that great at that god.
Ranked is also a mental game. It's not just your skill set. It's not just your knowledge of the game, but it is a mentally taxing game mode for some people. This is just me personally, but I play really bad when I'm like omega tilted. And so recognizing when this happens and when you should step away from the ranked scene will help improve your win rate. It's just important to understand that there will be good days of ranked and bad days of ranked. That's just part of how ranked goes. So if you're like me and you know that you play much worse when you're angry or you're tilted or you're just upset about something, then it's better to just step away while you're ahead and come back at a different time versus playing other games like after the game that tilted you where you're just inherently at a disadvantage because you know you're upset and you know you're going to play worse because of it. So just know when to take breaks. Refrain from toxicity. I'm not going to go into details about how it's like ethical to not be toxic, but there are players in ranked that will quite literally intentionally throw a game. They will just run it down mid. They will AFK in base if you say anything mean to them. So even if you have a different view of toxicity than I do, you're going into a game where you're going to have 3 or 4 teammates that you have absolutely no idea about. You don't know if they're going to be, normal human beings with a normal mental. And there's going to be a good chance in some of your games that there's going to be one guy that is just way over the top, extremely toxic, willing to throw games. So it's better off just not being toxic towards them because, again, you might be winning a game, you say one mean thing, and then they intentionally throw the game, where that win that you would have had now turns into a loss. So this next one is probably the most important point in this whole video, and if I want anyone to get anything out of this video at this point, and it's also the hardest pill to swallow, But don't worry about what your teammates do or how they played. At the end of the day, the goal of ranked is to try and climb as high as possible and improve yourself as a player. Whatever your teammates do, whether you have a teammate that goes 20-0 or whether you have a teammate that goes 0-20, it literally does not matter what they do. At the end of the day, the only thing that can make you a better player is you critiquing yourself. So even if you went 19-2 and your teammates all shit the sheets, just know that there's probably something you could have improved upon. And I get it. I understand frustration. I truly do. But I still think it's important to actively think about what you're doing wrong, what you can improve upon, and what you can be doing better. Those were the same two fucking things, but you get the point. This is a big reason why people get, quote, hard stuck in ranks. The amount of people I see where they're constantly in platinum, they're constantly in diamond, say things like, oh, if I got better teammates every game, then I would improve, or my rank would go up. And I'm like, no fucking shit, your rank would go up if you got better teammates. That's true for anybody. But unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world where everybody is going to get insane teammates every single game. And I genuinely believe that people that are hyper-focused on their shitty teammates are actively not really going backwards in progression, but definitely not moving forwards.
So yeah, I agree with this point a lot. I think it is very bad to sit there typing and criticizing your teammates all game instead of focusing on yourself, because ultimately ranked, you're climbing for yourself. You're probably, good chances are, if you're in lower MMR ranked, you're not going to see these players again, or not going to see them again for a while. So you really want to just focus on yourself and what you can do better, because you can always do something better every single game. No matter if you're Baskin or if you're Minecraft Boy 2007, you can always do something good, always do something better. And so you always want to focus on that and improve on yourself and sort of have a self-feedback loop and just keep analyzing your own gameplay instead of critiquing others. Now, you can maybe give some small tips here and there, like, oh, you should have called this out, or maybe say this next time, but you have to be very nice about it and be careful, because if you do give tips, people may start lashing out at you, especially in lower elo ranks. They might take offense to it. So I agree with this 100%.
This one's pretty simple, but just watch people that are better than you. I did this a lot when I was learning the game and playing ranked a bit more, but I do think it is extremely beneficial to watch pro players or just people that you think are pretty good at the game. Just watch them play on Twitch or just YouTube videos or something, and quite literally, if you want to, take down notes, write down builds, comment on things they're doing, ask questions. This is an important one. I know a lot of people go in Twitch chats and they're shy to talk. People that are streaming the game love answering questions. Ask questions. You don't understand why they did something? Ask them. You don't understand why they built something? Ask them. Even if it's a YouTube video, just say, hey, at this part in the video, why did you do this? Why did you build that? I'm sure that 90% of people are going to answer you. This next one I understand isn't like going to directly improve your win rate, but I do have an argument for it. Use the fucking mute button. A big issue people have with ranked, or a big reason why people don't want to play, is toxicity. And there is a big argument that was like, oh, well, if people are toxic to me, I don't want to mute them so I don't miss any callouts. Well, thankfully, one, there is now a new muting option, so you can mute people except for VGS, so you still get the callouts. And two, if this is a reason why you don't play ranked, you can't really climb unless you're playing ranked. And also, like I said earlier, some people just play worse when they're tilted. So if this tilts you and you aren't muting people, then your win rate is going to suffer from it. So I understand people are saying, oh, I don't want to mute people because I'll miss callouts. Well, at the end of the day, you're going to have to make a decision. Am I prioritizing my sanity and my happiness, or am I going to prioritize a couple of shot calls here and there? Know the simple and important VGS callouts. Another reason why I hear people not playing ranked is because they don't really know the callouts, and you don't need to know every single one. You really just need to know the important ones, in my opinion, which can take like 10 minutes to learn. You know, attack, defend, enemy missing, need healing, out of mana, enemy ultimate down, things like that. So yeah, you don't really need to know every single VGS call. Hell, I have fucking 5,000 hours on this game. I still don't know how to say set up an ambush here. And I'd say my rank career has been pretty successful. Adapt to your teammates' play styles. So a lot of people usually have a play style and a vision for how they want a Smite game to go. And everybody's different with this case. You might have one teammate that just is very good at split pushing. He's going to pick Kronos, he's going to pick Apollo, not going to help in team fights, just quite literally going to run it down towards the Phoenix for 50 minutes straight and just split push the entire game. Or you just might have 4 teammates that don't really know what they're talking about and just make really bad calls that you don't necessarily agree with. In either of these cases, you have to adapt your play style. For the 2 examples I just gave, if you have a teammate split pushing, you're obviously going to have to play a 4v4 team fight different than a 5v5 team fight, because you're not going to have an ADC, or you're not going to have a solo laner or a support or whatever.
All right, so yeah, like I said, I do agree that it's always good to sort of try to change your play style a bit if someone is doing sort of like an objectively wrong play or doing something that's different than what SMITE is usually played as. Like if someone is flip pushing or only flip pushing or playing Apollo and backdooring, you probably want to try and make plays to accommodate for them. And if your entire team is calling like a retreat, or if everyone is spamming retreat or attack, you probably want to listen to the call. And usually you don't want to go full Rambo or full hero mode. Like if there's like four people or 5 people on FG and you're the only person there, you can maybe go for a steal attempt if you know you're gonna be safe. But you don't want to give your life for stupid things and make stupid decisions that go against the entire team.
So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you have any feedback or any tips that I might have missed, feel free to leave a comment. I try to go through every single comment and respond when necessary. As always, my Twitch and my Twitter are in the description. I tweet pretty much every day and I live stream 5 times a week. And if you like content like this or just me as a person, feel free to drop a subscription. That sounded so fucking cringe. I'm not doing that again.